Level 1. Infantry Private. You start at 0. You walk into a military entrance processing station. You sign papers. You raise your right hand. And just like that, you belong to the United States Army. You are sent to basic combat training. 10 weeks. Fort Jackson, Fort Leonard Wood, Fort Moore. It doesn't matter which one, they all feel the same. 4 in the morning. You are on the ground doing push-ups before your brain is fully awake. You learn to make your bed so tight a quarter bounces off it. You learn to fire an M4 carbine. You learn to march, to navigate, to survive without sleep. You are on duty every hour of every day. You graduate basic. Then you go to advanced individual training as an 11 Bravo, infantry. And here, in the mud, on the ranges, in the field exercises, a sergeant notices something. You are calm. You don't flinch. You shoot better than everyone else. He pulls you aside after a range day. You ever think about sniper school?
You haven't. But now you can't stop thinking about it. To apply, you need to be at least an E3. You need perfect or correctable vision. You need a general technical score of 110 or higher. You need a commander willing to sign off on you. And you need to survive what comes next. Because sniper school doesn't care about your scores. Sniper school only cares about one thing: how long you last before you quit. Level 2. Sniper School. The United States Army Sniper Course. Fort Moore, Georgia. 5 weeks. And the dropout rate is over 50%. Day 1. They hand you a manual. They show you a rifle, the M2010 Enhanced Sniper Rifle. Then they take you into the woods and tell you to disappear. This is called stalking, and stalking will break you if you let it. You must move, slowly, across open ground. Evaluators with binoculars are watching every inch of that field. If they see you, you fail. If your equipment makes noise, you fail. If your muzzle flash gives your position away when you fire, you fail. You have been crawling on your stomach for 6 hours. You are 30 meters from the evaluator. You fire a blank round. He didn't see you. You pass. But stalking is only half of it. The other half is marksmanship. You will shoot at targets from 300 meters, from 600 meters, from 900 meters. At 900 meters, a man-sized target is a small dot. Wind, elevation, humidity, temperature, everything changes where that bullet lands. You calculate it in your head. You adjust your scope. You squeeze. Marines go to Quantico. 12 weeks. Longer, harder, more attrition. The Marine Scout Sniper Course has the highest washout rate of any combat school in the U.S. military. But if you graduate from Army or Marine Corps, they put a tab on your shoulder. They hand you a certification that less than 1% of all service members hold. You are now a qualified sniper, and you feel like you're ready for anything. You are not ready for anything. Level 3. Junior Sniper. You are assigned to the sniper section of an infantry battalion. There are maybe 6 snipers in the whole battalion, and immediately, you feel the gap between what you learned in school and what this actually is. In school, targets were steel plates. They didn't move. They didn't shoot back. They didn't have families. Your team leader is a staff sergeant with 3 deployments. He doesn't talk much. He teaches by doing. Watch me. Then do it yourself. You learn to build a hide site, a concealed position that could take up to 8 hours to construct. You learn to use a spotting scope for hours without moving. You learn to read terrain, to see the ground the way an enemy would move through it. Your first deployment comes: Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria. The location changes depending on your unit, but the feel is the same.
You are lying on a rooftop. It is 130 degrees. You are watching a road. Nothing happens for 6 hours. Then a vehicle stops. Your spotter calls out a range. Wind speed. Elevation. Your commander's voice comes through the radio. Hold. You hold. The vehicle drives away. You never know why. You are not given explanations. You are given coordinates and told to watch. And this, the watching, is the job that nobody tells you about. 90% of a sniper's mission is observation, reporting back, counting vehicles, identifying patterns. The shooting is maybe 10%. And that 10%, when it comes, changes everything. Level 4. Sniper Team Member. You have a confirmed kill now. The paperwork is simple. A report, a range, a target designation. 2 minutes of your commander's time. The memory is not simple. You were on a rooftop at 0300. Your spotter identified a man planting an IED on a road that U.S. forces use every morning. You called it up the chain. Permission was granted. Everything after that happened in slow motion. The breath, the trigger, the recoil, and then silence. Your spotter confirmed. You went back to the observation post. You wrote the report. You ate your MRE. You didn't sleep. Nobody talks to you about it. That's not how this works. You are expected to move forward, move to the next mission, be operational. The men who struggle most are not the ones who question whether the shot was justified. They know it was justified. They question something harder to explain. Something about what it means to be the one who decides the distance between a man living and a man dying. Your team leader sees it in you. He doesn't offer counseling. He puts you on the next mission. Best thing for it, he says. You believe him. You are still not sure if he was right. Level 5. Senior Sniper. You have been deployed 3 times now. Afghanistan, Iraq, back to Afghanistan. Your total time overseas is over 36 months. You have missed birthdays, 2 Christmases, your son's first steps. Your wife has learned to run the house without you. And when you come home, this is something they don't train you for. You don't know how to be in the house anymore. The house is too quiet. The streets feel too open. You find yourself scanning windows when you drive. This is called hypervigilance. The military calls it an adjustment period. The Army needs snipers badly enough that they are willing to pay to keep you. You sign again. Not because of the money, because you don't know what else you'd do. You have also developed something that money cannot buy, an ability to work under pressure that very few humans on Earth possess. You are calm in situations that cause other people to freeze. You make decisions in microseconds that would take a civilian an hour to think through. Junior snipers now watch how you move, how you set up, how you stay still. You are the one who knows that the textbook answer and the real answer are sometimes very different. Level 6. Sniper Team Leader. You are now responsible for someone else's life. Your team is 2 people, you and a spotter. In the field, there is no one else. No supervisor watching over your shoulder. No one to call if things go wrong. You plan the mission yourself. You select the route in. You choose the hide site. You decide when to shoot and when to hold. You decide when to withdraw. A wrong decision at this level doesn't just cost you. It costs the man next to you. It costs the infantry platoon waiting on your intelligence. It costs the mission. You have also begun to see the politics of the military. The commanders who understand what a sniper team can do, and the commanders who don't, who want to use you like regular infantry, putting you in situations that waste your capability. You learn to brief commanders with confidence, to advocate for the mission without being insubordinate,
To be right without being difficult. This is a skill they do not teach in any school. You earn it the hard way.
Level 7. Sniper Section Leader. You are no longer just a sniper. You are the person who builds snipers. You manage the entire sniper section for your battalion. Multiple teams, training schedules, equipment accountability, mission assignments. You sit in planning meetings with officers and tell them what sniper capabilities can and cannot do. You train the junior snipers. You watch them on the range and see yourself from 10 years ago. Some of them have the gift. Some of them will wash out in the field, regardless of what their school scores said. You know the difference within the first week. The job also requires more paperwork than you ever imagined when you were crawling through grass at Fort Moore. Maintenance logs, training reports, personnel reviews. But when one of your teams returns from a successful mission, when a commander tells you that your snipers saved a patrol, all of it is worth it.
Level 8.
Sniper Instructor. You return to Fort Moore, or Quantico, as an instructor. The students who arrive are confident. They have scored well on their pre-screens. They have been told they have a gift. You will test whether that gift is real. You design the stalking lanes. You set the scenarios. You are the evaluator with the binoculars, the one who decides whether they pass or fail. And you fail people, good people, people who tried. Because trying is not enough. In the field, trying is how people die. Every student who graduates carries a piece of your knowledge into combat. Every student who goes overseas and comes home alive, you are part of that. And every student who doesn't come home, that weight is part of the job too. You don't talk about this. You teach the next class.
Level 9. Special Operations Sniper.
Very few snipers reach this level. You have been selected, through a process that was never officially explained to you in full, to operate with a Special Operations Unit, Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, 75th Ranger Regiment, Army Special Forces. The selection process for these units makes sniper school feel like an orientation week. But you passed. And now your missions are different. They are not written on whiteboards in battalion briefing rooms. They are given to you by people whose names you don't know, in buildings that don't appear on any map. Your targets are not men planting IEDs. Your targets are names on lists that governments officially deny exist. You work in small teams. You cross borders on paperwork that will never be filed. You do things that will never be reported. You do this because you are one of fewer than 500 people on Earth who can do what you do. And because once you are in, truly in, there is no version of your life that exists outside of this. Level 10. The Ghost. Retired. You retired. The ceremony was quiet. A handshake, a flag, a room full of people who knew what you'd done and couldn't say it out loud. You moved somewhere small, a house with a yard, somewhere with open sight lines. You still chose it for that reason without fully realizing it. Your body carries the deployments, your knees from years on rooftops and in ditches, your hearing from rifle fire, your back from the weight of gear. But it is not the physical things that stay with you the longest. It is the math. You know the number. You have never written it down. You will never say it in public. It lives in a part of your mind that you have learned, over 20, 25, 30 years, to keep very quiet. People ask you what you did in the military. You tell them, infantry. They nod, they move on. At the range, because you still go to the range, younger men watch you shoot. They don't know why you shoot the way you shoot. They don't know what that stillness costs. You carry a government ID that gives you access to facilities that no longer officially employ you. Because some of what you know doesn't have a retirement date, there is no ceremony for the things you can never discuss, no medal for the weight you carry in silence. You are retired. You are invisible. You are exactly what they trained you to be. That is your life. At every rank, as a military sniper. If you want to see the next rank breakdown, every level of Navy SEAL, Delta Force, or CIA officer, it is already coming. Subscribe. You don't want to miss it.